blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. We've heard that moniker many, many times throughout our lives. I'm sure you have as well. And typically we tend to say that, say it out loud, exclaim it when our family is pissing us off. Like, God, my friends are more reliable than my family. But there's ultimately something deeper here to analyze about that statement and why it resounds so accurately and so true time and time again. So, when you embark on the spiritual path, a lot of people find that they come up against internal programming. And just to kind of start at the bottom here, internal programming is the idea that the environment, the culture, the society, the parents, the friends of your parents, anyone who is able to have some sort of lasting impact on your belief system and your idea and perception of the world, that they are effectively creating the archetype of what you become. And then ultimately what happens is, as you grow older, you tend to find that there's this sense of discontent or unfulfillment 99.9% of the time, because you have embodied and are projecting some sort of belief system into this simulation that we live in that isn't accurate to what your soul believes. It's almost like you've been constantly, for years and years and years, maybe as long as you remember, telling yourself something that at your soul level isn't true or accurate, but then you've told yourself it so often, heard it so repeatedly, that you can't help but just embody it. And when you work to break these things, what ends up happening is you end up butting heads with the very people who instilled and installed this program to begin with, maybe short of the caveat of, parents, friends, family members, or aspects of society that have done the shadow work. Now, I don't really find that society and culture is doing that shadow work, but this is more applicable to, like, if you have a mom or a dad who had really bad financial scarcity, and by the time you're in like your 30s doing the shadow work, recognizing that you need to change your belief system and your perception of the world in order to be fulfilled, maybe they have started to unravel and unspool some of that as well, and there's a level of commonality. But more often than not, I don't find that to be the case with myself, with my clients. It's just, that's why we have this saying, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And what happens is, like, you hear these stories growing up, and I sure as hell did. I grew up in a Christian cult, and it was a very, very limiting belief community, very insulated. And what ends up happening is, like, you hear these stories about, like, oh, did you hear, like, Margaret, she disowned her family, like, blah, 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 she disappeared, she doesn't talk to mommy and daddy anymore, like, cut them out completely. And it's always pitched in like this, like, what are they doing with their life? Like, ew, like, ick, gross. And I would say for like every one of those examples, like out of 50, they did go join a cult. Some cult leader was like, cut your family off, give me all of your money, But more often than not, that saying rings true, because as you come into the embodiment of your own fulfillment, you begin to like taste what life can be like when you're living by your own rules and your own terms. You come to find that your frequency just does not align with the people that tried to get you to believe and perceive about the world a certain thing. And this is where we get the term the sacred family. The sacred family is exactly what that statement is talking about. The blood of the covenant. That is the sacred family. It's people that you choose via frequency or belief system, like coherency of belief system and perception of the world. Again, that's why like spiritually woo-woo people always seem to find each other. And even if you're not like a woo-woo spiritual person, you tend to have a lot of those people in your circle because they resonate with that frequency that you are beginning to embody, that level of fulfillment, a level of authenticity about how you view the world, how you view your desires, how you view the shadow aspects of yourself. And so with this video, I would love to leave you and encourage you with the idea that there's ultimately nothing wrong with this. It is an incredibly, pardon my language, fucking difficult process to work through recognizing that your fundamental belief system does not align with the world that you come from. And it requires you, as this world does, the alchemy, the transmutation, taking these dark, terrible experiences that have happened to us or traumatized us, left us feeling victimized. We have to separate ourselves from that in order to embody a level of fulfillment in this life, in order to grow into who we are supposed to be. And so this isn't me telling you to like send the text to your mom or dad and be like, F off, I don't ever want to talk to you again. No, This is detaching with love. It's recognizing that fundamentally the way that this realm works, when we choose by frequency or belief system or perception our family, that family will ultimately be more loving, compassionate, empathetic, and loyal than the family created by blood could ever have been for you. If you're interested in how to work through, how to integrate, how to process the difficulties of removing yourself from the world in which you grew up in and has traumatized you, victimized you, made you an agent of some sort of power loss, and you are trying to step into a greater sense of fulfillment. And again, maybe that fulfillment is money, maybe it's work, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's insecurity and imposter syndrome, maybe it's like the relationship you have with your health. That is what I am here for. It's my mission, it's my purpose, and it's my objective. So you can reach out to me one-on-one. The link is in my bio, and I'll see you all there.